Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we are going to be talking about Paper Mario, the 1000-Year Door remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it, for the Nintendo Switch. And oh boy, is this one hell of a redoing, that's what we'll call it, a redoing of this game. I have not played this game since the original release back in 2004 for the GameCube. And I've always gone on about how much I really loved it at the time. And so when I saw that they were remaking it, or whatever they're doing it for the Switch, I'm going to call it a remake because I think it is a remake. And ultimately, I was very excited, so that was an instant pre-order for me. And let's get into it. Let's talk about this game and some of the craziness of how great this game really is. So first of all, if you have ever seen a Paper Mario game, they usually tend to have some of the best art styles in gaming, honestly, in my opinion. The paper aesthetic, the cardboard aesthetic, the way that things fold, things bend, the way things look and are made. This game looks incredible, and it is quite the glow up when you compare it to the original. At first I was like, oh, it doesn't look that much different. Oh no, it looks pretty different. This game looks very, very nice. It's an incredibly good looking art style, and that plays a massive factor into why this game sticks out. It's just got these really cool areas in the game, and they all pop in their own way. Whether that's going to like the area of like Glitzville or Petal Meadows, Twilight Town, they all have these different vibes to them, and they all look incredible. And honestly, it's just insane to me just how good this game looks in that choice of art style. And it really, it just makes me stop and look at the areas I'm in and appreciate how the game is designed and made. Honestly, it's phenomenal. Love all of that. And that's one of the things that you're going to notice straight away. If you've never played these games before, you're going to really get like a vibe and be able to take in how the characters are, how the areas are, and just get to look at all of it. Like, you know, getting to see like a tropical island, getting to see this like whole section on a train, a section in a fighting pit, a Twilight Town, like all these different stuff. Even Rogueport, the main hub town, is so like just full of character. It's awesome, and to see that be like basically put into a much higher fidelity than the original on GameCube is yeah, it just makes me go, wow, this game really looks the part. I think the biggest thing that we should talk about though is the fact that this game has a significant amount of quality of life. Being a remake, and you guys know what I'm like when it comes to remasters and remakes, quality of life, there needs to be changes to things that improve on the original in ways that don't take away from the original, but also just make things either just less time wasted, or just make it easier in the sense that it's better for the player but doesn't change the core gameplay, let's say, stuff like that, in a way that's like massively different. But there is a lot of quality of life here. The big one for me is the improved fast travel system. In the original game, you would have two screens, a platform in the middle, and on either side, the platform in the middle will have two pipes to the left, two pipes to the right, and the same again. And it was a little bit fiddly to get to, and that was your fast travel system to get to and from every area you've been to. This game decides to go like, no, let's make this much simpler. There is a pipe in Rogueport Square in the middle of the Rogueport Square is the middle of the town. Sorry, that pipe leads directly to the fast travel. You unlock a fast travel once you get back to town and got the next quest to go to chapter 2, to go to chapter 3, and it's so much more efficient. Yeah, alright, you still got to run to it, but it does cut down time significantly, going all the way into the Rogueport sewers and like looking for bits like that. No, now you go to Rogueport Square, down a pipe, you are in the fast travel area. And all the pipes are laid out in a circle, so if you need to go from chapter 1 to chapter 4 quickly, you go to that place, hop in the pipe, jump into the other pipe, you're there. And it just, that is such a simple change, but it saves so much time for the player, especially when you're doing the side quests and you have to run from area to area. And all the pipes are placed for the most part in really good places. They'll pop up in most of the towns where the NPCs are, that are usually the places you need to be. So it's great. I really like what they've done there. On top of that, some of the chapters in this game required a lot of backtracking. Chapter 4 and chapter 5, I think. So you got one where you have to go to Twilight Town, you have one where you have to go to this island called Key Hall. And there is a lot of running back and forth, and they basically in chapter 4 they've added an extra pipe to reduce some of that backtracking. And in Chapter 5, they've added a brand new spring to help alleviate going through. If you wanted to skip all the combat, bang, you get on this spring, you get up onto the top of the cliff and you go back and forth, and it speeds up that thing. If you're one of these people that wants to like grind, you can still do that. You don't even have to use these things. But the fact that they put this in where it's like, no, here you go, here's a way to just, if you want to move the story along a little bit quicker, they're there. And those things are massively appreciated. Really appreciate the fact that they are there, and that they, you know, I don't have to use them, but I can use them. And for me personally, having played the game before, I was like, this is awesome. This is the kind of stuff you want to see improved. One minor change in the game is the character ring. The character ring basically is a button now. You click the button and it allows you to switch between partners very efficiently, very quickly. In the old game, you have to open up the menu and do it from there. It wasn't that long-winded, to be honest, because I've done it a couple of times in this game, but it is nice just being able to hit a button and not even have to open a menu. You just hit the button, it pauses your time, you grab the character and on your way. Very small change, but a very welcome change to be sure. There's improved inventory space in this game. In the original, you had 10 items to start with. Now you can pick up 15. The still feels a little bit small, but if you're using your items correctly, it's cool that you've actually got a little bit of extra space to carry stuff. You can now carry more coins, which is nice, so you're not going to be wasting stuff. There are extra save points around the map now, which is nice. There is, when you run from battles, you no longer drop coins. Instead, running from battles simultaneously gets harder. But you know, if you're low on coins or you're trying to save up money and avoid fights, you're no longer punished that way, which is nice. There's a new hint system with Kimbella, which is cool. It will tell you what's going on or stuff about the area. And then there are some added, a couple of added NPCs in the game. One which is like a toad that helps you with combat, so you can do practicing of like guarding and super guarding and things like that, which is a nice welcome. And there's also a guy that helps out with the troubles. They're called troubles. They are your side quests. You just go around and help people. There's this little mouse dude who will basically give you help and hints and stuff with that as well. And one other thing they've added, which might seem like a small thing, is you can, when you fight a boss and you lose against the boss, you have a retry button, which means you no longer have to go back to the last save point. You can just straight there, boom, fight the boss. This isn't everything, but that is a good summary of a lot of the quality of life that has been added into the game. And even though some of this seems quite small, my experience playing the game has been very streamlined in the sense of like, I'm enjoying every moment, every chapter. There are chapters that I was dreading redoing, whereas now, having redone them and remembered them, I'm like, chapter 4 especially, I hated that as a kid. Made this way more playable, fun. I'm obviously older, I'm a bit better at games now, and so that chapter was just enjoyable from start to finish. And yeah, I've got to say, like, all of these things added together, it's awesome. Really awesome. And it makes me, this is the thing I always go on about when you get remakes and remasters, is that this is a chance to put out a game people love, but also add in those extra things that will help improve the game overall. Oh, this game's backtracking was a little bit meh. Can we improve that in a way that just makes it easier for the player? And that's what happened here. You know, and that's really awesome. I will say that the options menu in this game is absolute trash, and it's like rumble, and that's it. There's no like audio sliders. There's a bunch of like stuff that they could be adding to it. Like, there's not even text options, so you know there's definitely room for improvement still. But compared to the original game, there is a ton of quality of life here, and I'm all for it. Makes the game feel significantly better in many ways. So you know, as a remake, you know, you have your graphics, your quality of life, and they are the main things you are looking for when a remake comes out and something to play. But one thing I will say that I'm absolutely like enamored with is the new soundtrack that they've added. One thing I'm really enjoying at the moment, and I had this with Super Mario RPG, and we got it again here, is that they go, hey, do you want to listen to the old soundtrack at any time? They give you a badge, and badges in this game you equip and unequip, and this particular one is called like Classic Tunes or Nostalgia Tunes, and you can equip it at any time and you will get the original soundtrack from the original game. But the new music in this game is awesome. I think the biggest and most obvious change is that the battle theme is now is different depending on what area you're fighting in. So you go to Petal Meadows, you'll get the classic battle theme that you know and love, but then you'll go to somewhere like Creepy Steeple or where else, like Keyhole Cave or Keyhole Island, whatever it's called, and you will get variations of the battle theme. They are all really fun. They all have their own unique personality. There's a ton of extra like themes for the characters. There's a ton of extra themes for some of the bosses and stuff. I am a big fan of the music in this game, and it's really awesome to hear the reimaginings of those tunes. Honestly, I've just got to the point, and you'll probably see this in the gameplay for this video, is I'm at the Fxsnowy base, which is like one of the last chapters, and the music in that area is stomping, and it's a really good glow up. The original was great, this version of it is also great, so very, very happy to report that the soundtrack is still just as phenomenal as ever. So those are the major things with this remake that make this, this is what they've added. Let's talk about the actual game itself, because obviously this is based on a game from back in the GameCube. The one major downfall is that this new version of this game runs at 30 frames a second, which is really disappointing. Yes, it's still an RPG that's turn-based, it's not real-time, but still, you are reducing people's inputs for things like guarding and super guarding and things like that, because you now have less time and less inputs to do it because you've got half the frame rate. So that is probably the big negative, is that it is running like at 30 frames rather than 60. And no matter how many people say that, like, oh no, it's still playable, and it is playable, it is disappointing. It's always going to be disappointing when you have a game that is running at 30 frames that really and truthfully you want it to be running at 60. I hope that the next Nintendo console that comes out, this game gets a buff to 60 frames. But the actual game, let's talk about the game itself quickly. If you've never played this game before, this is a awesome RPG with some of the best mechanics in an RPG. What makes it so fun is that it's you and a partner versus however many enemies. Most of those enemies are don't have much health. Going from 1 attack to 2 attack is quite big in this game. Not something that I'm usually a fan of, but the thing is, most enemies don't have more to start with, have anything more than about 10 health. So you, through the badge system, through your own play, you can power up Mario like in multiple ways and like increase his damage, reduce his damage, same with his partners, to be very efficient in battle. What makes the battle so much fun? You have the ability to block attacks with correct timing. You then have the ability to use a super card, which if you time that on different attacks, you'll take no damage and you'll counter back. You have a bunch of moves based on the badges you have equipped. Like you might have a ton of moves in jump that can reduce an enemy's attack power, can reduce an enemy's defense. You might have one that sets enemies on fire. Like, all these things that you can kind of customize Mario and his partners to do. Each partner has different abilities. There's timing inputs to get more like stylish moves, which helps. And then you can do special moves with the crystal stars. There's so much to this combat system that makes it damn fun. And as you fight different enemies and you learn what enemies do and like what they react to, there is an element of fire, ice, thunder as well. The boss fights in this game really test the player as well, and most of those are really fun. And I'm just talking about the actual turn-based combat right now, and the fact that you're on a stage and things can fall down from the top of the stage, the crowd can get involved, the backdrops can fall down. Like, there's so many moving parts to the battle system that you can take away a lot of the other elements of the game and leave the battle system, and it's just awesome. And I think it's why this game is so well loved and why people like this game. I like it because it's one of my favorite RPG systems. You can literally get good enough to never take damage in combat, but you've got to like have I think you have 2 frames of timing to do it on most attacks, so it does take a lot of practice. Along with like this and Super Mario RPG and the Mario and Luigi systems, I've always loved how Nintendo handles, or the companies that make those games handle, their RPG systems or like their combat mechanics, where it's like it's active. It's very like you can attack and you have your action commands, which is, hey, I'm going to jump on an enemy, and if I time it right I can do extra damage. You've always got an input, so when you're attacking, if you time things right and push the buttons at the correct time, you can do more damage. And the same with defending, and I am a huge fan of that. So to the point where if you get that good, you will nail a bunch of attacks and you will never take any damage. And I love that is like, if you practice enough, you can get that good at it. So the combat itself is awesome. Like I said about the badge system, there are tons of different badges you can customize as you level up, getting all the badge points. You can customize your kind of loadouts and things like that. Like I've got a badge that allows me to jump on enemies even if they're spiky, and things like that. And there's so many badges, and I like the fact that different people are going to play it differently. Do you want to pump all your level ups into health? Do you want to pump them into badge points? Do you want to stick it to flower points? Like, it's just, there's a lot of choice in this game, and mechanically it's very sound as well, so all of that works. And then on top of that, There are a ton of partners, the worlds themselves, different areas you go to, the different NPCs that you meet, the people you interact with. So much of that, and plus the story, is so fun and interesting. There's a bunch of very silly characters. There's a bunch of very silly moments in this game. There's some very like serious moments. Like it balances stuff out so well. You get levels where you get to play as Bowser. These short, like based on the original Mario Brothers. You get bits where you play as Peach. This game is just, replaying it reminded me just how much I really like this game, how much I enjoy it, and honestly, I genuinely think this is up there. I don't know what the other 4 would be, but this is easily in the top 5 best RPGs ever made. Ever made, right? I don't know what the other 4 you would put in there, but if you had to pick 5 of the best RPGs ever made, this is 100% in there. This game is that good, and because it's a nice compact size as well, that's something that I really enjoy. At the moment, is playing RPGs that are a bit on a smaller scale. This I haven't finished it yet, but we're probably looking at like 50 hours or less. And I'm fine with that. Like, not every RPG needs to be these big, like 80 to 100 hour games, if not more. But I really appreciate the fact that this game feels like each chapter feels a nice length. And what's even better about it is the fact that this game feels even better playing it on a second time round. Obviously, I didn't play the original twice. I played the original and now I'm playing this one. But playing it a second time and having all that muscle memory for certain things over 20 years later, this game feels so much better now. And I don't know what that is. Maybe it's because I'm better at games. Maybe it's because I remember stuff. You know, I'm playing it maybe differently this time. I just really think this game is just really refreshing in this day and age based on RPGs. There's a lot of RPGs out there, and this one has a lot of fun to it. It has its poignant moments. It has great writing. It has, you know, a fucking phenomenal art style that you can't really, you know, it just looks super good. And the gameplay, the core RPG mechanic system is so good. And it's what a lot of the other Mario RPGs have been missing. And there's a reason why people look back at this game so fondly. There's so much more to this game that I'm probably forgetting, but like I really wanted to sort of talk about mainly the quality of life that's been added, the glow up in graphics, and then that soundtrack. That's what you're getting with this remake if you've played it before. If you've never played it before, then you are in for an awesome time. Very solid game. In fact, incredible game. Probably one of the best RPGs ever made, in my opinion, and just straight up, just like so much going on, but in a nice compact kind of shell. And yeah, if you've never played it, please go and look up some stuff, go and look at reviews, go and look at gameplay of this game, and if it's the sort of thing you think, yeah, I want to give that a go, you will not be disappointed. This game is awesome, and if you love story and you love characters and you love the writing and things, I think you will really appreciate what they've done with this game. And that's a good point. This game is also based on the original Japanese transcript for the game, as in there were some changes made in the original Western release, which is now all being reverted back to what the original game was. There's a couple of changes still, but for the most part, pretty much what it was in the original, which is awesome. So yeah, that's going to do it for me today, guys. Obviously, hopefully you can tell I'm very passionate about this game. I think this game is awesome. If you like this video and you want to see more of that, hit like. You want to see more as well, hit the subscribe button. Hopefully do more videos based on some of these classic RPGs. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below in the description as always. And until next video, I will see you then.